So I am on the new Enve AM30 wheels. These came out last week. They are pretty promising. They're really cool looking wheels. I'm excited to give them a go. They just missed out on our carbon versus aluminum wheel showdown. We had wrapped that all up before these were launched, so we couldn't include them. But think of this as a bonus episode. So on the climb here, these wheels feel pretty quick and lively. Not quite like their cousins, the M630s. Those are just kind of special in how fast and lively they make your bike feel. These do have that kind of carbon wheel magic that people talk about. The hub in these is the Industry 9 101. It's got 4 degrees of engagement, so pretty solid hub. These wheels retail for $1,600. They're a totally new rim design from Enve. There's a few differences between these and the M series wheels. Most of it's in that rim shape and layup. It's just a little simpler and a little easier for Enve to make, and that's what allowed them to make a pretty high-end or high-performing carbon wheel that they can sell for $1,600. So some of the differences between these and the M series wheels: these have a shallow rim profile. The M series are pretty deep. These are only 20 millimeters deep, so pretty shallow. The shallow rim profile also helps Enve give these wheels a little more compliance. They still share that wide rim bead with the M series wheels to help with pinch flats. That wide rim bead really helps with pinch flats. As you can imagine, you're spreading out the force over a wider surface area. Oh, and I'm in the wrong gear here, I think. Power! They are about 1,850 grams for the wheel set. It's actually fairly comparable to a lot of this wheel's competitors. That Santa Cruz Reserve wheel being very similar. I mean, they almost weigh the same, they're the same price, and I think they hit that same target audience. It'd be fun to compare those two wheel sets. So climbing on these wheels is good. They climb pretty well. They're decently fast. The hubs are good. They aren't quite as amazing as the 630s, but they definitely get a pass. Don't really have any complaints. I think the person wanting a lot of climbing performance out of their wheel is probably going to be looking at an M series, either the 600s or the 500s. I think for someone looking for a good all-around wheel that's good on the descents but doesn't make you suffer on the climbs, I think the AM30 will be a pretty good wheel option for you. Just dropping into our downhill. This is a pretty fun little trail we just found. It's got some jumps and some narrow, tight stuff. Woo! Might be a little slick. Holy cow, it is. So these AM30 wheels are all about compliance on the downhill, being strong and robust. They're not quite as stiff as like the 630s. Whoa! Woo! These wheels don't quite rocket you out of the corners like the 630s do, but they still feel pretty energetic. They're not dull or ultra flexi or compliant. They might just be a really good balance of stiff versus flexy. These ride really quiet in the bumpy stuff. They take the edge off of those small bumps and the chattery stuff. Concentration right now, this is narrow. Yeah, so like I was saying, they take the edge off of the chattery stuff, but without being just so flexy. That jump feels so weird. As far as grip and traction goes, I feel good enough. You know, some of this dirt's not perfect, but I feel good enough with the amount of grip I'm getting from these wheels. So these wheels don't really jump out at you one way or another. They just do their job and let you focus on riding a bike. These wheels actually feel really good in the corners. Not super flexy, but just right. And that's kind of my big critique or criteria for bike wheels, is that they're stiff but not rattly, and flexy but not a noodle. And these bikes, or these wheels, kind of hit that for me. It would feel weird to not compare them to the 630s, kind of the Enve standard that people know and love. These do not feel as energetic. They don't rocket you out of a corner quite as fast. They feel a little bit slower on the climbs and on the downhill. I think they feel a little more compliant, a little more cushy. According to Enve and their strength testing, they test stronger than a 630, and they resist pinch flats more than a 630, probably because they're a little more compliant and the rim can bend instead of crack. Dumped my front wheel off the trail there. This little bit of trail is super narrow, kind of hard to ride. And then I guess maybe I'll compare these to the Zips that I just rode. These are way stiffer and more energetic and lively than those Zips. Especially when you're pushing hard into a berm. So just to wrap this up, $1,600 wheel set made by Enve in the United States that really puts an emphasis on compliance and performance and not so much weight. I am super stoked on these wheels. I really like them. They ride really well, especially I think they're going to be really good for that little more aggressive trail to enduro rider. They're really going to like these wheels. Well, thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next time.